and gentlemen, good evening, good afternoon, and good morning wherever you are. You know, guys, there is a lot of gibberish that people are consuming in this YouTube stream. Such that at times, if you're not careful and you're not keen, you would be a beneficiary or be at the other end of consuming some kind of stale information. But this is being done by the lazy girl. Especially, I want to monitor and focus my strength on JT podcast because there is well-based allegation and claim that IAM-MARWA was initiated to VADOO by ROCIO. So we want to get to the gruesome of such kind of allegation. Therefore, within it, we want to unwrap so that we want to get to know the truth. And again, we also want to put it clear what is VADOO and what is yoga. Because these two words, JT is mixing them, and people and the audiences themselves were clapping for JT for a job well done. You know, this is my problem and a worrisome that sometimes I couldn't sit when somebody is mixing facts. That's what is coming out of that kind of outrageous kind of episode or reaction itself. It's just part false. But a story that's concocted, choreographed, mainly to vilify IAM-MARWA. You know, sometimes it makes me so vexed and livid. You know, is it because they were oblivious of the fact? No, they were not caught unawares. It's just because they know, but the person whom such kind of gibberish is being directed to is the person that they've marked as the somebody that they want to vilify or defame, for that matter. So guys, if you're coming across this channel for the very first time, kindly click on the notification bell so that whenever I upload a video, YouTube channel notify instantly. To my loyal subscriber, may God bless you abundantly. So let's dive in after the break. Welcome back to my YouTube chit chat. My name is Zach and this is my YouTube channel. So guys, let's dive in lest we forget. Number one thing is, IAM-MARWA did a video, and the video that they did, IAM-MARWA was with ROCIO when IAM-MARWA went to his forest, and he found that most of the trees were cut down. The main reasons why they were headed to the forest is like, you know, IAM-MARWA with the lifestyle and showing people the plantation itself. But another story also came in because we know ROCIO has been practicing yoga. Now, ROCIO was suggesting that he wants to build a particular kind of a place or find a space within the river just nearby the forest so that he would be coming there anytime to do the yoga. Because, you know, for those who people do yoga, yoga wants a chill place, a place out of distraction, a place that you can hear the imaginations of sounds maybe from water or sounds of what you think, but it's so peaceful so that you connect your breath, you connect your mind and your physical body so that you can release stress and your well-being. And that is simply the yoga itself. But JT has come with the wildest claim that ROCIO was initiating IAM-MARWA into VADOO. Just because in African setup, if somebody is found praying in a forest, therefore people associate such kind of things with a VADOO. Because a VADOO, understanding VADOO in an African aspect, they call it as a black magic. While in other community, most of the Caribbean, part of Caribbean, the Haiti and the other side, the VADOO is largely practiced as a religious kind of fundamental functions that help them in their spirit and also well-being. You know, these are the people, sometimes they believe that once you die, there is a lot of spirituality change that transforms your spirit, that transforms your body into spirit. So these are the people who could even communicate with the dead spirits. And that is VADOO. So we are in between the VADOO and the yoga. And that one draws our attention that we are now going to distinguish between the VADOO and the yoga. Is yoga a VADOO and VADOO is a yoga? So what is the difference between a VADOO and a yoga? we are going to embark into that distinction and definition of VADOO and yoga. But that is what JT was referring to VADOO. Perhaps before we diverge straight to the meaning of VADOO and yoga, I want to let you know, understand how the JT podcast decided to twist IAM-MARWA and started terming IAM-MARWA that ROCIO was initiating IAM-MARWA into VADOO. Perhaps listen to how JT was twisting everything, because I consider this one outrageous, because JT couldn't fact find its facts. He couldn't do any other kind of a substantial research to get to know. But because the rush is always about IAM-MARWA, the rush is always painting a picture that is not, and the rush is always to vilify and to the detrimental of their reputations going forward. So let's listen to JT podcast.
Have you seen what's happening in the village? You know, I bet you maybe you did watch that part. Maybe for those of you, for a few people who actually get time to watch those boring videos, but for those of you who didn't watch, I watch on your behalf and I'm here to break it down for you.
Sorry for that commercial. We are continuing. That's a commercial. I'm very sorry for it. Let's continue.
Of course, Mark Feather, thank you for reminding them to like before we get started. I really like that. I appreciate that. You know, yes, Moita, Amangana, Amaya Sana, Ekiore, Ankiria Bantovak. Don't worry, guys. We're just talking in Chinese, just like Rocio has been talking in Voodoo language. Gitiriba said that. How are you? Hello, watching from Nairobi, Kenya. Thank you.
So if you listen to that, you see JT podcast is just making ridicule out of that here VADOO things and the yoga things, because he just merely doesn't understand what is yoga and what is VADOO. Because he looked at ROCIO, that ROCIO wants to practice yoga, of which I know yoga is something so new to African tradition and very many people. So that if you bring it, they see it like, oh, this looks like witchcraft. Yet it's not. This looks like VADOO. Yes, it's not. It is the village mindset that JT podcast is still having, still possessing. You know, sometimes they might tell you, you can move somebody out of the village, but you cannot move the village out of him. So this is the kind of still reaction and an example, like a study of JT podcast, because it cannot. He has got all the requisite requirements, like an internet, free internet, the gadgets that he can check and fact check what is VADOO and what is yoga. But mixing up this word, it means there is an ill motive and outrageous kind of episode that is made, and terming that IAM-MARWA was initiated by ROCIO to VADOO. Perhaps let's continue listening to him.
Tuning in. Habari ndugu from Uganda. Salama sana, karibu, you know, for the Swahili speakers, non-Swahili speakers, people watching me. Let me know actually where you checking me from, you know. So they were taking rounds in the forest, right? I'm talking about Sensor and his baby mama. They were taking rounds and rounds. After complaining about the tank, plumbing in the plumber. So Sensor was taking rounds in the forest with his baby mama, and they happened to hit about.
So from that point, you could hear, now it's digressing, calling ROCIO, that is baby mama, to IAM-MARWA. Something that I found a little bit disturbed is disgracing to the status of IAM-MARWA and ROCIO. These people are husband and wife. You know, it pains them that IAM-MARWA could really get along with ROCIO and marry, because all along that they wanted IAM-MARWA and ROCIO to break up, something that never happened. So they've resorted to calling ROCIO now a baby mama to IAM-MARWA. Hey, these people, wonders shall never end. Let's continue.
They're saying that their plans, it's like Marwa has been inspired by ROCIO. They want to build some sort of a yoga temple. I didn't really understand it, but from my own glance or view, I mean, what I just made out of that story is like Sensor and baby mama Rocio, they plan to build something by the riverbank there, something like a place of worship, because I really think that yoga and meditation are really deeply spiritual. So there's no way that this thing could just be like a
Let me stop JT up to that point. Yoga is not spiritual in any way. There is no place called that yoga temple. Yoga has got only a physical place where you can do it. It could be one corner of your house or it could be outside. So it depends with what you love. Other people love nature. So they want such kind of yoga to be done in an outside environment. For those who like secretive place, will build a place where they can do such kind of exercise and practices. Like for example, those who are doing martial arts, they have a hall that they're doing. The hall themselves, we call it dojo. For those who do the martial arts, maybe the karate. So, or in Japanese, they call it the hall. Are you there? So that is it. So you must stop. There is no place. And yoga is not a religious. Yoga is not a worship. And this one I must tell you, yoga is not a worship. Yoga is not a worship going forward. And if you want to get to know the fact that yoga is not a worship, I want to now distinguish you between yoga and VADOO. So let's have a distinction between yoga and VADOO because it is here. I want to start with yoga. What is yoga? Because I went and checked it online. So yoga is a practice that connects the body, breath, and mind. So it's a practice that connects the body, breath, and mind, which means it takes your faith. It needs a high concentration for you to be true out of distraction. So which means nothing needs to distract you. So it uses physical posture, how you posture yourself, breathing exercises, systole and diastole, and meditation to improve overall health and meditation. So meditation simply is like a reflection of being in a state of nothing that is distracting you, nothing that is bothering you, that all is well, so that your mind will connect with your breath and your physical body so that the healing will come instantly. Simply means it's a stress reliever. So yoga was developed as a practice that sometimes would release your pain. So it is not that yoga is that much spiritual. There is a spiritual aspect of it, but it's not a religious. So which means there is no temple, because sometimes they tell you to exercise. So, and everything is spiritual. Sometimes even life itself is spiritual. As it happens above, so below. And your existence and also your birth itself was spiritual. So anything that involves treatment and treating of the body, if it's gone spiritual, it's gone spiritual. So yoga itself is just a practice that connects body and mind and breath. And their main purpose was an exercise that makes you to release stress within your body. And you bring in the positive energy within yourself. So it is not the VADOO. So on the other hand, I want also to discuss what is VADOO, as you could look here. So here, VADOO is a religion influenced by traditional African religions that involves magic and attempts to communicate with spirits and dead people. Common in other parts of Caribbean like Haiti, especially Haiti, and in the parts of southern United States. That is what JT was talking about here. So JT is just confusing what is yoga and what is VADOO. So using the word VADOO in the aspect of yoga was so wrong. And JT was so being insensitive here. He doesn't know. There are people also are watching it from several parts of Caribbean that also believe in VADOO because it's sets of their religion. And now, sometimes when we react, sometimes it must be very, 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 very sensitive. of what we're speaking about, because we have our audiences that are watching these things. But with me, I'm now doing a comparative analysis. Whether you practice VADOO and what you believe in it, I have no problem. It's your option. Whether it's yoga, I have no problem. Whether you are a traditionalist in Africa, accept, I have no problem. So my wonder is, why would JT come and confuse yoga with VADOO? Or voodoo, the way they call it. It's something that really I cannot fathom or find the reasons as to why. So that one also brings us to another end. So let's see what JT Podcast is talking about herein.
It's not that big. They're so deeply spiritual. So I don't know where Marwa actually, or how Marwa arrived to this thing that they want to build. They want to build this spiritual place called yoga, whatever, yoga meditation thing by the riverside. So, and I've been seeing how ROCIO is doing this yoga, and maybe from a little knowledge about the yoga and stuff, I know they're spiritual. Just like we see Conman praying, like she a Christian, right? Just like you can see someone else doing the other thing, the other spiritual thing, or maybe, yeah, religious thing. So, ROCIO and Marwa, they'll be building this thing by the riverbank, by the riverside, down there in River Gintu. They'll be erecting whatever is called, boy, I call that voodoo. I don't know any other best time to describe it. Because how is that even happening? So, Marwa have never told ROCIO, at least, can we maybe trying at least to convince her to go to church, because he a Christian, right? His mama is a prayerful woman. Her mama is his mama is a Christian, like, I mean, Conmam, right? So if Conmam is a Christian, a prayerful woman, and Marwa was raised a Christian, or maybe, let me say, for example, right now he chose to be a Muslim. So he never convinced ROCIO, maybe try to persuade her to tell her, hey, can we go to my place of worship and stuff like that? But no, ROCIO just came the other day, and she's taking over, she's just dragging Marwa to some stuff that he's never done, never. And now since he's doing them, without even resisting, effortlessly, ROCIO is just taking over just like that. And I remember, some days back when ROCIO used to identify herself as a nature witch.
So, there are things that will never cease to amaze me. Now JT want to see Amara going to church. How many number of times that Amara have come in this street and told people about the religion? He was brought up a Christian, yes, a Seventh-day Adventist. He's gone to church several times. Amara has ever come here and told people he believes in God directly. But he doesn't want to categorize, oh, this is Catholic, this is what, no. With him, God is important in his life. So Amara does not owe anybody going to church. Religion and religious matter is personal. Whether he's going to church or not is none of our business. So long as he commits his faith to the one Almighty, God himself. Are you there? I've told you VADOO is not a worship. That's not a temple. It's a place where even after you've come from church, you've come from mosque, you can decide to go and meditate, reflect. Just like other people, I've got a private room in their houses. Whenever they want to pray, they will join or to reflect. They will go sit there for even 1 hour, reflecting their lives, to energize, so they come out so differently. Are you there? So if there's something that, if you're not understanding JT, you just need to ask. Just by a mere Google, you'll get to know the meaning of it. So I found it so outrageous, so kind of mannerless, so kinds of want to bring what is not into Amara's place. Marwa is not practicing VADOO. ROCIO is not practicing VADOO. This is just yoga itself. And people do yoga even in Kenya. I know several people, Africans, who are doing yoga. And yoga itself is just an exercise. Yoga itself, I just even, after doing exercise, for example, when you're breathing, breathe out. in, out. The same thing. You relax yourself as you meditate so that your breath and your body and your mind connects in one unison to create healing and release tension. But with yoga, it's now a deeper inside of it. Involve physical, involve mental aspect of spirituality itself. A combination of it brings healing into your body and releases stress and tension. And it's also a medicinal. Right now, if you go to this wellness hospital, okay, and wellness, when you have things of psychiatric or psychological problem or trauma, either other times they will tell you after this one you need to do yoga as a medicine. They prescribe that one to you. So is that a VADOO? You know, sometimes I really wonder with the level of our vexations and reaction in this YouTube street. It doesn't make sense. Never. So, guys, let me know what you think at the comment section. Until next time, this is Senior Zach.